This is a proton pack from SpiritHalloween. It looks okay. It's not bad. The molding is pretty decent. It's 80% screen size. Not terrible. What we're going to do is we're going to take this apart. We're going to make it look a little more finished, weathered, and maybe do some upgrades here and there. There's only one of these. There should be two. Maybe the actual metal rod. You know, we'll see what we get to. This is going to be cosmetic only. Every maker for sound and light upgrades have their own videos, and they do a way better job than I could bumbling through it. So first thing we're going to do is take everything that needs to come off first, and then we'll go from there. First off, we flip it over, and we're going to take the backing board off. I have the straps. There it goes. Flipped around so they're out of the way. There are 5 screws holding this backing board on. The Ghostbusters refer to it as a motherboard. Find kind of weird, but you know, hey. People are weird. There's 2 screws up here, 2 screws here, and then 1 on the bottom. You're going to have to peel back the foam here to get to those screws because they're in a bit. I'm trying to keep everything relatively in good condition because I haven't decided whether I'm reusing this board or not. Probably not. There we go. So there's just 5 little screws. That's all it holds this thing on. If you can get under, you can get in between the board and the foam. It does make taking these screws out a little easier. Let's see where we're at. I know it's relatively hard to see. I'll show you what I did right after I'm done. Backing is off. You get to see the guts of it. I might bring you in for an overhead shot, just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Because not everything needs to come off, but a good chunk of it does. First thing we're going to do is take this wand off. That's a screw here. This is the only thing that actually holds it on. So it comes right off. We got these wires here. And all of this goes to this one connector here. This one connector has hot glue that holds everything in place. Let's peel that glue off. This connector comes right off. And then we can feed the whole thing out and get the wand out of the way. We're not going over the wand in this video, or even the series. That's probably going to be one completely on its own, because it's way more in depth than just where we're going to get to now. We're going to take all the electronics off. There's just 4 screws that hold most of this on. Or this is 4 screws that hold the lights on, put it that way. There are 3 screws that hold the speaker on. And then 1 screw over here. The LED right here is glued in place, which is not easy to get out. We'll see what we can do. Pretty easy to get out. So that's all of the electronics. We want that out of the way, save it for later. We'll figure out what we're going to do with it when we figure out what we're going to do with it. These screws here and these 2 are all that's holding the straps on. Since we're going to put this on an Alice frame, we don't really need these straps at all. Just slide that forward, pull the pin, whole thing comes out. Same thing for the others. Forward, pull the pin. Couple of things that I know are going to get removed. This ribbon cable's coming off, so might as well, since we're here. It is just glued in place. There it goes. This tube is coming out. And then this diffuser is coming out. And this is also just 4 screws. I want to keep everything close to where it goes because we're going to probably end up reusing this piece. For the goodness. There we go. Alright, we're going to flip it over, take a look, see where we're at. Here are the pieces I like removing. I'm going to take off anything silver or gold. So this piece, these, this, most of this wire. This tube's going to come out. Just because I'm going to want to spray behind it. We'll get that in a second. Pull this one. Come on. Just wiggle it out. This end is glued in place and it's very difficult to get out. So just getting it to here is important. That way we can hold it out of the way when we want to spray down here. Bumper's coming off, and then we're going to take all the stickers off. So I guess the first thing to take off would be the ribbon cable, since it's on this side right now. That comes right off. Alright, so that's everything we get from this side. So we're going to flip it back over, now that it's a little easier to manage. And we're going to start by taking a bunch of these bolts off, right? If you look, right in here, there are screws. This holds the whole disassembly on. We're going to have to take that off to get these screws out. Oh, maybe. We'll get to that in a second. All right, we'll start with these two that are, of course, covered in glue. Beautiful shot of my hand in the way. Okay. Now we need to get to these two in here. Let's see if I have a shorter screwdriver so we don't have to take everything apart. And that is a kind of 90 degree that should work perfect, provided this tip fits. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to see this. So I'm just gonna do the thing. And then once it's started, I will just take it off the rest of the way. So I'm just holding the bit in place and then spinning the fitting. That is the easiest way to take that one off. This one, just like the other side, we're going to just unscrew it. Luckily none of these are screwed in too terribly tight. Then we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to put the bit, or put the the bit on the screw here, and then twist the fitting. All the way down here is a not quite hidden screw. Alright. This one might get taped off, I don't know. We're definitely taking this wire off, because in the end I'm going to end up replacing that piece completely. Yeah, we're going to take the clip art valve off too. And then last, we're going to take the bumper off. Next step, heat gun all the stickers off. All we're going to do is gently heat these stickers and peel them all off. I'm not sure if I'm reusing them or not, but I like to have the option. All I'm going to do is heat the whole thing up nice and slow, and as soon as I can start to peel, I'm going to. We're just trying to reactivate the glue. Warm the whole thing up. There we go. Nice and careful. Oh, no, not yet. One down. 1, 2, 3, 7 more to go. I'm probably going to upgrade the stickers, but let's not jump the gun here. I believe that's it for stickers. I'll just double check. A made in China sticker. We'll take that one off. So that is all of the stickers. A couple of things we need to touch up. Peel off any loose glue. I'm probably going to see if I can keep this tube off, because why not, right? So if I end up replacing the split loom for the wand, I'm probably going to use the same tubing for this part here. I just like being able to start from scratch. Don't have to worry about anything. Alright, there's a couple of quick modifications we are going to have to make. There's text here I want removed. We're going to have to fill in the speaker holes, and then we're going to have to drill out all these holes. It's not that big of a deal, but it's enough that it's going to make a difference. So I'm going to start by sanding all of this off. I think it's just via the copyright. All rights reserved, as it were. So I'm going to sand that smooth with the Dremel. We're also cutting these two pieces off. But for that, I'm actually going to use a cutter. These are 100% going to be replaced with 3D printed parts. I really liked how they look. end filter. All of these holes are supposed to have a mesh inside, so we're going to drill all of those out before we do much anything else. So maybe grab a bit and a drill. I am undersized drilling this, and then I'm going to sand out to the edge. So they make these plugs you can put in that kind of look like the thing. I like this better. I'd much rather just drill through everything and put mesh in. I think it looks nicer. It's my opinion. These two are going to be annoying to drill, which is why I'm skipping it for now. I'll get back to it in a minute. Alright, that is all of the major modifications done. I've known people who've cut the bumper off and put on, so there's an air gap here, and I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it's cool, it looks good. I just, for what it is, I don't really think it's worth it. The next thing we're going to do is Bondo a few areas, a few seams to make everything nice and smooth, and we'll pick it up at that point in a second. Glazing putty. I've gone over this before. I absolutely love this stuff. It's fantastic. It works really well, and it does exactly what I'm going to want it to do. There are a couple spots for filling. Let's start with speaker grid. This one's probably going to take a couple of coats, just because you're filling in holes. That's kind of what happens. I already split my glove. And then there's a seam line here and over here that I want to fill in. So I tend to use more than I need for stuff like this because I'm going to feather it out. They did a pretty decent job hiding all the seams on this thing. I'm not even going to worry about the other side. There are a couple spots though, like right here where the backpack straps went. I'm definitely going to take care of those. All I'm doing, filling it in, smoothing it out. That's it. Since I've already resigned to do multiple coats, I don't have to be super detailed on this one. I also want to fill in the line on the end filter here as best I can. This stuff is relatively cheap, easily sandable, so I tend to over add it. There's a seam right here I'm going to want to fill in. Put a little more on the speaker grid. Luckily, most of this has got a lot going on, so if I leave a couple seams, it's not the end of the world. I think that's good. I'm going to walk away and let everything cure for a little bit. We'll pick it back up then. Now light sand. Alright, we're going to hit this with a light coat of gray primer. I'm going to grab that so I can show you what I'm using. And as usual, I am using Rust-Oleum Sandable Primer. So again, light base coat. We'll see where we're at from there. What am I doing? We need to tape off the wire first. And the silver. This might get replaced with metal. I'm not quite sure yet. this piece snapped. It's trying to take it off. It disagreed with me. We'll have to glue it back on. So we hit this with a nice light gray primer. Whole thing, just stem to stern. I'm probably going to rough it up a bit. A little bit of sandpaper, you know, just so the paint's got something to adhere to, but probably not. I'm just going to spray it. So, light gray, the whole thing. So here we are. It's been primed. Still a little wet. It looks fantastic. Gonna be a shame we're gonna have to weather the heck out of it, huh? But we're gonna stop here. I've got pieces printing, the little double piece and then the strain relief for printing right now. So it's a good places I need to stop. I like how it's turning out. Pretty happy with it. So go don't be afraid of no ghosts.